Hello, Mr. Bennett.
Hello, gentlemen.
Are you in town or?
I'm in Utah, American Fork, Utah.
Oh, okay. You're in Utah. Okay. Did you come and go and back, or did you ever?
Several times.
Okay. Yeah, good. Yeah, I saw they had those terrible fires, so you didn't have to navigate through any of that, did you?
Actually, when we were driving up a couple nights ago,
Yeah.
About Fillmore, if you know where Fillmore,
yeah.
Utah is.
Yeah.
We could see fires burning in the mountains to the east of us on I-15.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah. It's
happening.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah.
Not as bad as Spokane, I hear, but
yeah, isn't that terrible? Somebody's actually set that fire.
oh, is that? I hadn't heard.
They caught it. They arrested a guy for arson. Pretty. It looked like he's pretty young too. That's terrible.
You know, that's the pictures I saw of Spokane reminded me of Paradise and what is it, Honolulu or whatever it is in Hawaii.
Yeah, Hawaii.
Where they were worried about directed energy because, I mean, these things were nothing but piles of ashes. You know, a pile of ashes, a driveway, a pile of ashes, a driveway.
Yeah.
And
I know. You know, they finally got Maui put together a little bit now. They've opened it up a little bit. Finally, after 3 years ago, that happened. And forget, don't ask about the Palisades or Malibu because they haven't done anything. Hey, Jeff's going to come on here now, so let's give him a big welcome here. We haven't seen him for a while, so. Hey, Jeff.
There he is.
Hey.
How you doing?
Been a long time, gentlemen. I'm okay.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing?
We're good. We're so happy to have you come join us, Jeff. It's really great to see you.
Good to see you guys. I didn't want to miss it. I'm not on the whole time because I'm leaving for Dam Neck tomorrow at 5 a.m.
Okay.
But I couldn't not see you guys for another week. So,
good. Yeah, we appreciate that. Yeah, good.
Well, I have to get off at 4:25 because I've got a couple of attorneys wanting to talk to me right at 4:30. So, or I want to talk. Actually, I want to talk to them. So, but they're willing to talk to me, I guess I should say.
That's good. Yeah.
Well, you guys don't look any worse for the wear, so that's good.
Yeah, you don't either.
Well, I'm glad you're back, Jeff, because I was having to carry the whole load. I'll tell you.
Yeah, just like the helicopter pilot should.
That's right.
Yeah. Paul's been doing good. Ken's been running back and forth between Utah. He's in Utah right now, Jeff. So
Okay.
American
good.
Fork, right? You said, Ken?
American. They say FARC up here.
FARC.
Almost FARC.
Yeah.
But I say fork.
I think it's spelled fork. So
It is fork.
I should have sent you guys they finally came up with a design on book cover and stuff, so I'm getting very close.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I wanted to
book
ask you how the
coming
book
out.
was doing.
Yeah, it's going to be over 300 pages. I didn't write it to be long, but that's what it ended up being, I think. And
Wow.
and so yeah, Don, I'll try to remember to text you. They gave me a number of book covers, but I'll send you the one, and maybe you could send it out to everybody. And
Yeah, sure.
And,
Be happy to do that.
it is on to review and all that. So
So what are you kind of looking at time frame of being on? I guess you're going to be on Amazon, right?
yes, yeah, going to be on Amazon, and really want to have a good kickoff. So yeah.
What's the title, Jeff?
The title is called Rebuilding Americans. Not Rebuilding America, Rebuilding Americans. I wanted it to be the only sure way to make America great again. But we took the shore out. It's the only way to make America great again.
Okay.
So Rebuilding Americans.
Cool.
And
Good job. Yeah, I like that.
Well, America isn't America without Americans. So
that's
you're
exactly
right on.
right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of citizens in America that I would not call Americans. They are legally
Good point.
citizens, but I would
Yeah.
definitely not call them Americans.
Yeah, and then here we are. Recently, we jump into the socialism, communism fire little fires burning all over the
exactly.
country,
Well,
right?
and
Wow.
that's one of my points in the chapter is you cannot swear an oath to the Constitution and be a socialist or a communist.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, you can do it, but it's a lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
Shouldn't be
saying I'm baptized, but you don't believe in Christ,
Yeah.
it's just incongruent. Let's put it that
You
way.
you shouldn't be allowed to run for office if you're a socialist or a communist, but
Yeah, I don't see how there's not a religious test, but
yeah,
they do have you swear an oath and you
yeah,
should mean it.
yeah,
So,
that's right.
But I saw something yesterday that 1/3 of Democrats identify or say they support democratic socialism.
right. Is that,
Yeah.
One
and the
third.
reason, but it shouldn't be surprising to us because we haven't been preaching and kicking back in en masse of why that is so bad.
Yeah,
And I mean, there are people doing it. Don't get me wrong. You have the Bonginos out there, but we really aren't explaining why is that incongruent. And people are saying, "Well, it's a free country. You can have your opinion." That's true, but it doesn't mean if you have that opinion, you are not an American. You're
yeah,
not, as
that's
how
right.
it should be defined, because you can't believe in the tenets of the Declaration and be a communist or a socialist.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
And of course, that's the reason, Jeff, they want to get rid of basically get rid of all of our constitutional norms, all the building of the government. They want to get rid of the Senate. They want to get rid of the president. They want to get rid of everything we believe in. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but it's a perfect time for your book to come out and let's push it as hard as we can, all of us.
Well, I'll hope to get you guys, if I can get an advance copy, I'd love for you guys to get it and then be able to comment and, I'll need as much help as I can there.
Sure.
And I'm
Yeah.
going to get a couple forwards written, hopefully by Brandon Tatum and James T. Harris. And
There you go. Yeah.
we'll see.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. So
And
you
I'll
guys
kick off the podcast
Yeah.
marketing right here.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. We'll start spreading the word for sure. So I didn't bring any list or anything for today's program. I thought maybe we just each of us lead off with a rant. You must have had a rant build up over the last few weeks. So if you have a rant, please jump in and tell us what it is. Anybody can start anytime. Jeff, you want to start?
Paul, go ahead.
Yeah.
Ken or Paul. I've been at the
Okay.
caboose these days.
Well,
so
I'll
these
start.
guys should- yeah.
Today is August 6th, so I will make my rant based on Hiroshima.
The Enola Gay's mission starts from Tinian in the Marianas. The crew has had their final briefing on weather and air-sea rescue. Only yesterday they have been told of the true power of the weapon they are to carry. The massive bomb has been loaded. At 2:45 in the morning, August 6, 1945, Colonel Tibbets takes the Enola Gay down the runway into the air, beginning the 6.5-hour flight to Japan. Over Iwo Jima, they begin the slow climb to bombing altitude. At 8:15, a weather plane reports from Hiroshima that conditions are good. 2/10 lower and middle, and 2/10 at 15,000 feet. As they approach the target area, the weapon is checked for the last time. At 9:11, 31,000 feet over Hiroshima, the Enola Gay begins the bomb run. At 9:15, the bomb is dropped. The aircraft banks away at high speed. Just 50 seconds later, 15 miles from ground zero, the Enola Gay is rocked by the blast.
Sound of Music and Tora, Tora, Tora.
Yes, ever.
And Tora, Tora, Tora just made me madder than heck that our military leaders in the Pacific in 1941 could be so clueless to let us be caught so off guard. And it just spurred in me this passion about everything World War II Pacific theater. And so all through middle school and high school, every book report, everything I did was about World War II in the Pacific theater. I mean, I could tell you where every ship was in Pearl Harbor on the morning of December 7th. And of course, you can't take an American boy and have him write book report after book report after book report for year after year after year without developing a little bit of an uncomfortableness, at the least, almost an animosity at the most towards the Japanese.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the Japanese, man. And so I don't know if you know, but in the LDS faith, when you're 19 and now it's 18, you can go on a mission as a young man, but you tell your local church leader, they're called a bishop usually, but that you want to serve a mission, serve 2 years, you're going to pay for it. But where you go is up to the church and its leaders. And they have a special committee in Salt Lake City where they actually pray over the applicants who want to serve these missions. And they decide where you're going. And you get a letter back a few weeks or months after you apply. And it says it's a big deal in the LDS faith because you gather all your family around and everybody's waiting for you to open the letter and read, and you are assigned to proselyte in the da-da-da-da-da mission. And so I'm reading this letter and Japan Okayama mission. And I didn't know what to think. And I'll keep it short, I guess, or not as short as I should. I'll just say that 2 years in Japan completely turned me around as to, most importantly, the Japanese people. The Japanese people are beautiful and wonderful people. The Japanese military establishment in the 1930s and 40s were scoundrels in my book, and always will be.
Yeah.
But the Japanese people are wonderful. And I ended up being, the Okayama mission was the southern part of the main island of Honshu in Japan, which included Hiroshima. And sure enough, I ended up being assigned to spend several months in Hiroshima. And so I got to go to the Peace Park and see the Atomic Bomb Museum, and actually they call it the Peace Heiwa Koen. It's called the Peace Park in central Japan. Hiroshima, Japan is one of the most beautiful Japanese cities because 70, 80 years ago, it was totally obliterated and they started from scratch. And so the streets are nice and wide and it's a beautiful city. But every American, especially American boys who grew up hating the Japanese, should go to the Peace Museum and just see how terrible the bomb was, but how beautiful the Japanese people are. And even in the late 70s, I went in 79, no, 78 and 79, came back in 80. I met people who had been alive in Hiroshima when the bomb went off. And they had gotten beyond that, and they forgave us. And I had some very personal spiritual experiences dealing with people who had dealt with the bomb. And I'm glad to say that most Japanese, while I was there, realized by then that as terrible as the bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki were, even Japanese mostly realized that they saved millions of lives on both sides, because otherwise it would have been attack the island, invade the islands, and they would have fought to the last man, woman, and child. And so anyway, I just wanted to, my rant is the horrors of atomic warfare, but I think it was the right decision by President Truman. It saved millions of lives on both sides. But every American should visit that Peace Park if you ever get the chance, and broaden your perspective from being there where that occurred.
Yeah. Good.
That's great, Ken.
Yeah, fabulous. And I'm sure I always kind of wonder. You wonder if you went out and took a little poll among young Americans, how many of them could name the president that made that call, right?
Yeah. Oh, very few.
It's probably very few that really knew.
Ken, have you kept up with your Japanese?
Skoshi.
Okay. Because my son-in-law went to Japan also.
Okay.
So, yeah.
When I start, because I don't use it, it goes away, and I'm very, very rusty when I try to use it. But if I encounter, somebody who's fluent in Japanese or Japanese people, I can tell the synapses in my brain reforming as I listen and try to speak. And it starts to come back quite a bit. Obviously, as a missionary, it took me about 6 or 7 months, and I was thinking and dreaming in Japanese. So, for a while there, I was fluent, but it's pretty rusty now.
Yeah, that's
I was reminded again of one of the Johnson girls, Lyndon Johnson's daughters, was getting married, and they announced their marriage date of August 6th, and the Japanese in Washington just went ballistic.
Really?
Could you possibly have a ceremony, a happy day like that on August 6th when so many Japanese were killed? And Lady Bird Johnson said, well, would you suggest another date like December 7th?
That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Ken, I'm glad you brought that up, because there are many on what they're calling now the horseshoe right that are really coming down hard on our decision, our being the United States, Truman's decision to drop that bomb. And, because just saying, it's just unforgivable, and the evils and horrors and these kind of things. But, my father-in-law was a Marine at the time the bomb dropped, and he was set to go in, and he feels strongly it saved his life. And I think as parents, had we had children going in at that time, we sure would have wanted it. And so it's always tough, but life is complicated, and it isn't always black and white. And with hindsight, I do think it was the right decision. And I do think it is kind of foolish and short-sighted and naive for those, like Tucker Carlson and others, and I call him out as one that I used to greatly admire, but kind of getting, I think, dragged into a false type of a historical narrative by some people. And so I don't know. I don't know if we'll all know till we get to the other side and are judged by God and have better insight. And maybe the thing is, just never do that. And, but I think there's a time that we have to defend ourselves and our families, and so that is also my position now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people, all of the parents of the men that were fighting in the Pacific and taking each one of those islands one by one, right? Fighting those bloody battles like Iwo Jima and all the rest of them in the middle of nowhere with practically nothing on the place they were fighting. And you had to think about invading Japan. What would that look like? I mean, seriously, you're talking about it would take hundreds of thousands, if not more than a million men. Yeah,
it would have been horrific.
Sure,
They were training women, children, anybody who could pick up a sword. They trained them with what are called kendo sticks, but anybody who might be, they would have fought till the death of every man, woman, and child.
Sure.
To defend the homeland. When you see how ferocious they fought to defend pieces of stuff, Iwo Jima was a pile of asphalt or a pile of
volcanic rock.
With nothing on it of any value other than the fact that they had
an airstrip,
soldiers there to defend it. The lengths to which they would have defended their homeland would have killed millions on both sides.
And not only that, Ken, you have the stories they were being told back in Japan about of how bad the Americans were and how cruel they were, and and so you remember, I think it was Guam, when we took over Guam, they had several hundred Japanese go to the cliffs and jump off the cliffs and commit suicide because they were afraid of what the Americans were going to do to them, So, it was not a good situation, and it was the right call. I mean, if people will go back and look at the history and the events that took place during 1945, they'd better understand, why Truman made that decision.
Yeah. Well, one day a week, a LDS missionary has what's called a preparation day, P-Day, and you get to do your laundry and shop and maybe a little recreation and tour around for a few hours. But on our P-Days, especially when I was living in Hiroshima, we would visit people in the hospital who were still dying from the radiation poisoning.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
That had occurred in 45.
Yeah.
And so I personally got to meet scores of people of all ages who were still dying from the effects of the bomb in 45. I was there in 78. It was only 33 years later. I can remember I lived in a city just outside of Hiroshima called Kure. And in Kure, Kure was a shipbuilding city. And the church was relatively new. And so we had to rent spaces for our church meetings. And we rented the third floor of a commercial building in Kure. And on the first floor was a liquor store, a Japanese sake shop. So the sake shop was on the first floor and something else was on the second floor, and the Mormon church was on the third floor. And I had a companion from Washington State who was making breakfast for the four of us, usually lived in groups of four. And he was making some cream of wheat type stuff. And he couldn't find the hot pads, and it was boiling, and he had to get it over to the table. So he thought if he moved real quick, he could get it over there before it burned his fingers. And he moved so quickly that the stuff sloshed off out of the pot onto his forearm and just burned his forearm pretty badly. And he dropped the whole thing, screamed and yelled. Anyway, we rush him down to a little medical clinic just a few blocks down from where the church was, and they bandaged him up, and it's summer and it's hot and it's sweaty and it's humid, and So we're walking back towards the church, and the owner of the sake shop was carrying out his baskets of liquor, sake, to put on the sidewalk to kind of draw people into the liquor store. And he came out just as we were walking by, and he saw the bandaged arm of my companion. Oh, he says, "What happened?" This is all in Japanese, of course. And you know, we kind of took, not pride, but we just felt sorry for ourselves that one of our buddies had been injured so badly and it's burned his arm. And we were telling him how badly his arm was burned, and the flesh just bubbled up almost immediately, and it was terrible. And he goes, "I think I know how you feel." And he reached down, and it suddenly occurred to us that the guy wore long sleeve shirts all the time, even during the summer.
Oh my gosh.
And he reaches down and unbuttons the sleeve of his long sleeve shirt, and he rolls his long sleeve shirt up to almost his shoulder. And he exposed an arm that I do not know how this thing stayed on his body for 33 years.
Wow.
You could see every bone, you could see every muscle or part of whatever muscles, every tendon. The flesh was almost translucent or transparent. I don't know how it had stayed on for 33 years. He says, "I was a 7-year-old boy living in Hiroshima when the bomb went off. And the left side of my body was towards the blast. And this is what happened to me. And boy, did it put 4 American boys in our place pretty quickly."
Yeah. What a slap, huh? Boom.
And so that was a little lesson that Ken Bennett had to learn about a lot of things.
Yeah, their experience. Yeah.
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 I mean, it's terrible that it happened. And it's terrible that we dropped the bomb. But it saved lives, and I think it was the right decision. And I'll only change that opinion if God says differently when I stand in front of him someday. But
and you know, it's really it's really interesting too, Ken, that and Jeff and Paul, that at that time when they were putting together the bombs, you know, they had actually built 2 of them, you know, one fat man and one little boy, and they had backups too. And they felt at the time that the Japanese probably wouldn't believe the first one, and that they would have to drop 2 of them to convince them. Now, there were some people that were telling them, and when they were debating the Manhattan Project in Washington, D.C., that all they had to do was invite the Japanese over to see the test. And then there was a lot of worry about that, because Oppenheimer said, "Well, what if it didn't work? You know, then you'd really be in a pickle, because you have nothing to even threaten them with, right? If it didn't go off." So first they had the test, and they didn't want anybody to know about that. But they made 2 thinking that, and sure enough, the Japanese didn't really believe what happened with the first one, and they had to drop the one on Nagasaki on August 9th. So it's just, it's a terrible sequence of events, but I think we all agree it was the right decision to save Americans and American soldiers and Marines and naval people and airmen, and it was the right decision to to save more Japanese lives, because it would have been.
This
Mary
man
Margaret,
was. Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
Well, Mary Margaret was watching a documentary, and this guy was interviewing Marines who were standing by to go into Japan, and they dropped the bomb. And this interviewer asked this guy, "What does that mean to you?" And he said, "It means I'll live."
Yeah, right. I'm sure they all felt that way. Yeah.
Well, this liquor store owner was 40 years old. I mean, when I was 19, I thought a 40-year-old person was old.
Oh, that's right.
um, if you're 7 years old in 45, then 78, yeah, 33, yeah, he was 40 years old. So
Crazy.
it helped me remember how close. I was born in 59, and all I knew about Pearl Harbor was in the history books.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it occurred to me a couple years ago that I was born closer to Pearl Harbor than children today were born to 9/11.
Yeah.
And so
Something.
even for a American teenager in the late 70s, I was closer to Pearl Harbor than kids today are to 9/11.
Yeah.
And that 40-year-old man wasn't that old of a man, and here he was telling me how he was a 7-year-old boy standing in Hiroshima when the bomb went off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don, if you
Incredible.
don't mind, I wanted to use that because I'm going to get off pretty soon.
Sure.
I wanted to use that to segue, if Paul's okay with it too.
Yeah. No, good.
Because I wanted
Good.
to do a similar comparison. I think Paul was at our Heirs meeting when Monica Bodi presented. She's the lady who was born in Romania, but raised
Didn't
in
make that.
Iran. Did you make that, Paul?
No, I didn't make that.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. Because I think it's similar to what Ken's been talking about. So she came to our Heirs of the Republic meeting, and we have a once a month meeting, and Ken's come down and presented and did a great job. And so Monica spent her whole childhood from like 3 years old till she was out of high school, and then moved to Canada as a refugee right before, they had the big revolution. So she knows Iran. She speaks 5 languages. She became part of the Canadian intelligence, equivalent to our CIA, and just is a fascinating woman. And so she gave us a presentation on the Iranians, the regime, what their strengths, weaknesses are, and people in there thought they knew about Iran, and we're asking good questions. Well, why can't they get resupplied this way? She's like, well, there's a forest up there, or there's mountains there, and you can't get through, or this, that, and the other. And I mean, she knew. It was incredible. But the couple things she did say, and my big question at the very end, because this was, I think, in April or May, I think May, is how to move forward. And I do wish the Trump administration would have sought out her counsel, because she basically said, you cannot compromise with these people. You cannot. Number
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Number two, they will never give up their nuclear program. Never. Okay. They will tell you they will do that, but they will never, never do it. Okay. And so she thought that the Trump administration had been snookered by not following up and continuing what they needed to do. But my question was this, because on some of the Horseshoe Right and others were like, well, we can't bomb them back to the Stone Age, and we can't kill their infrastructure and do all these kind of things because we'll create more terrorists and people that hate America. So my final question to her was, Monica, what is your recommendation? Should we continue to bomb them? And is it worth, or is the civilian population, if we hit their infrastructure and bridges and do all that, is that going to create more of a hatred for America? Or are they willing to suffer through that to get rid of the cancer? So this is like chemotherapy, right? That you got to take a hit in order to be able to have a chance of winning. And she said the people are so done with this regime that they would suffer almost anything to get rid of it. And so she did say, and I thought that was just amazing, that, bomb them until they have nothing and the people will rise up. I thought that was very interesting from somebody who lived in Iran, still has people that she knows over there, and is very well, extremely educated in the area.
Mm.
And so that was one thing I wanted to say. And I think, there's experts out there that I would hope that the administration would look into, and she's certainly one of them. And the other thing and this was not her, this is totally me. I hope they're thinking, if we flooded the cities with small arms, AK-47s, M4s, AR platforms, whatever it was, and ammunition, sure, some of it would fall back into the IRGC, right? But you'd have to start to get some into the people's hands. You'd get some into the people who want to fight back. And if you could do that for enough time, I'll bet you that the people would rise up and start to take care of business themselves. And so I think proclaiming the Second Amendment upon a nation who has forbidden it would be an American first agenda that they could fight for themselves. And so what if we armed the IRGC with a few more small arms? They already have them.
Yeah.
Flood the cities with them, let the people grab them, and make sure those soldiers don't know if they're safe or not in their own country.
Yeah, and that's something Paul has suggested that we drop in the one-shot pistols and arm everybody up, and then after they kill somebody, they can grab their weapon and go to town. So go ahead, Paul, tell it.
Yeah, well, this was when France was occupied by Germany. They came up with what was called the Liberator pistol. It was a steel-stamped pistol that cost about $3 to make, and it had two bullets, one in the chamber and one in the butt of the gun. And the instructions that went with it said, shoot a German, take his machine gun, give this pistol with one other bullet to another guy so he can shoot a German and get a machine gun. And now you have two machine guns.
There you go.
And that's exactly what I was suggesting we do to in Iran, was just start flooding the field with these things. Of course, you could be right, M4s or whatever. But just even a single shot pistol, you take out one guy with a machine gun, and now you have a machine gun, and they have one less, and you just rotate that until you win. So, no, that's I don't know why we're not doing it. That's the point that's got me. I think that the program was stopped in France, and I think the problem was that the Allies, the French Allies, not the Vichy, but the Allies, were afraid to arm the people for when the liberation came. Then you'd have all these Frenchmen with pistols, and then they couldn't do their nasty stuff when they took over the government. They made 500,000 of them and never dropped any of them.
That's awesome, Paul. Yeah, I didn't know that, so that's really good.
Yeah.
But guys, love y'all. I got to get out of here, leaving early tomorrow, and lots to do. But I wanted to at least see everybody today.
Where are you going, Jeff?
I've got to go back east for Navy work.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So yeah, we'll be in touch. Look forward to
train them well.
Get the book out. Absolutely.
Yeah. Send out your covers, and we'll see you soon. Okay.
Take care.
All
guys.
right. Have a good trip, Jeff.
God bless.
Yeah.
Stay safe.
Amen. So, well, it's really good to see Jeff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. He looks good, and we need his knowledge. For sure. So looking forward to his book. Are you writing a book, Ken? Are you going to write a book?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Good. Yeah. I would think you would be someone who would write a book. You got a lot of good stories to tell. I always think about your experience with the Japanese. I always think about your Secretary of State experience with Guns of the Fallen, right? How that must have crossed your mind doing all that.
Between 4 years on the Prescott City Council and 7 years on the Arizona State Board of Education, 10 years in the Arizona Senate, 6 years as the Secretary of State, 30 some years running a business. Yes, I'm writing a book.
All right, good. Well,
God bless you. I'm having trouble reading a book right now. Finding time to read one.
So, and I wanted to mention that Yale Wishnick has a new book out. It's about AOC. It exposes AOC for who she really is. Pretty interesting. It is on Amazon. I'm not sure the name of it, but have you looked at any of that, Paul? Did he send you the link?
I read it. It's here somewhere. It came as a PDF, and I printed it out and read it, but nothing terribly new. You know, she's an idiot, and she's not an American idiot or a pro-American idiot. She's an anti-American idiot.
Yeah.
And I don't know. She's you know, there's so many people on the dark side going to run for president. You got Ruben Gallega wants to run for president. AOC wants to run for president. You got who else? There's
Mark Kelly, right?
Kamala and Newsome. You know, all these people, none of whom have an IQ of room temperature, but they're flashy and loud, and the lower class loves them, and it's sad. So
and that leads me to a question to Ken about about Hobbs's choice for her lieutenant governor. And the only thing I know about I know he was the mayor of Mesa, right?
Uh-huh.
But I also know that he endorsed Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was reading that today.
So other than that, I don't know much about the guy.
Well, I know John well,
Yeah.
and I certainly disagree with him on several of his political positions, endorsing Kamala over Trump in 24, I guess it would have been. And he may have even endorsed Biden over Trump in 20. But yeah, I'm not a fan of John's decisions at the U.S. presidential political level.
Yeah.
But John Giles is actually a very nice, good man. And he's no longer a Republican. They're now reporting today. They've been reporting for 2 days since it kind of came out that he was going to be chosen, that he was a Republican. But
right.
Apparently he switched to an independent earlier this year. I wouldn't have known that. I haven't talked to John for a year or two, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not close. I'm not close friends with Mr. Giles, but
right.
John Giles is a good man. I disagree with, as I said, some of his political decisions, but it doesn't surprise me that that's somebody who Hobbs is picking to kind of go after the middle. She can't, you know, the crazy left is already voting for her.
Sure.
And the decision, Arizona is 35% Republican, 35% independent, 28% Democrat, and 1% everything else. So the decision will be made by the 35% independents in the middle.
Yeah.
And Giles will pull a few Republicans votes, you know, the more liberal Republicans, and we have a few in the state. He'll, before either one of them chose their lieutenant governor running mate, I put Biggs at 45, Hobbs at 55. After Biggs picked Sina Kerr, which I think Sina Kerr is one of the most wonderful people I've ever met. I think picking Sina Kerr brought Biggs to a 50-50 with Hobbs. Hobbs going with Giles pulls that back maybe. Right now I put Hobbs, Giles at 52 and Biggs, Kerr at 48.
Okay.
But that's close enough to overcome. I'm supporting Biggs. And like I say, Sina Kerr is one of the finest people I've ever met. Very down to earth, very authentic, very honest, very just. I couldn't be more pleased with his selection of her. I was afraid he was going to go to the right of himself to kind of solidify the Turning Point USA folks or whatever. I mean, I'm sure he was pressured by some people like Jake Hoffman and others to, you know, go further to the right, but he made a good decision in Sina Kerr.
Yeah. When was she in the Arizona legislature, Ken?
For the last 8 years, not but not the last two.
Okay.
So she was in for about 7 years. She was appointed to fill an opening about 9.5 years ago. So she completed that term, and then she got elected to 3 more terms.
Okay.
So I think she was in the Senate for about 7.5 years.
Okay. I just don't, Patti and I never
No,
met her and
you
never
guys left
recalled her name.
before she
Yeah.
kind of appeared on the scene.
You know what I was kind of thinking? I was thinking Biggs might go pick Kirsten Sinema.
No, the person I thought he was, I don't think that was ever a chance. I think the person I thought he was going to pick was Leah Marquez Peterson from Pima County,
Yeah.
who was on the
Corporation Commission.
Corporation
Yeah,
Commission.
we know
used
Leah.
to be.
Yeah.
She was the director of the Pima County or the Tucson Chamber of Commerce.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously
Chamber of Commerce,
Hispanic. She would have been,
A
her
good
and
choice.
Cena Kerr would have been the best 2 picks I can think of for Andy. But
What is Leah doing now?
I'm not sure.
She's still on the commission. I got a letter from her yesterday.
I think she's on the
She's
commission
on the
now.
Corporation Commission. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she got elected. She was running for it before we left.
Yeah.
We left it. We went on our 20, what was it? 20, the 20, would have been the 2016 election. We had the bus trip down south, and she was on that, the bus stops here trip, we called it.
Okay.
So, yeah, she came with us. So, yeah, we got to have a beer with her in Dave and Buster's. After we've traveled all day in the bus all over southern Arizona and went to see a lot of people, and we got back to Tucson and nobody was waiting for us. So we went to Dave and Buster's and had a beer.
Okay. I'm going to check their website right now and see. Yeah. She's currently on the
Corporation
board.
Commission. Okay. Yeah.
Corporation Commission. She's on there.
The rest of them have been completely changed, right? That she started out with.
Yeah.
Is she the chairman or not?
No, the chair
Yes.
is Nick Myers is the chairman right now, but
okay.
I think she was the chair for a couple of years, or a year or two, a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good. So, well, that's it. That's all interesting. So, sounds like it's going to be kind of a dogfight.
It's going to be a dogfight, and I think Biggs with Kerr is within striking distance of Hobbs and Giles.
So, certain
What
parts
about
of
this?
Go ahead, Paul.
What about this pay for play investigation they're pulling on her with the mortgages and money laundering and cartel associations and things like that? Is there nothing to that?
Well, what I think there is something to is the pay to play with the Sunshine Residential.
The whole old folks home. Yeah.
The old folks home, where the owners and senior executives of the old folks home gave her and the Democrat Party combined about $400,000 about 4 years. When she ran 4 years ago, they were huge contributors to the Hobbs campaign then and to the state Democrat Party. And lo and behold, when the state was having budget difficulties that next budget year, the Sunshine Residential Care Home was the only vendor that was the only company doing residential care for the state of Arizona that got a rate increase. Everybody else were frozen. I think it was like 22 to 23. Everybody was asked to freeze it was after COVID and stuff like that. But all of the companies, and there's hundreds of them, that perform residential care services for the state of Arizona had to renew their rates the next year at the same rates they had the previous year, except for Sunrise. They got a rate increase. And then it was explained that they contributed $400,000 to her campaign. So that's to me the ugly. I don't think she's laundering money for the cartels. I mean, they call her Cartel Katie. I don't think she's doing some of the things that Republicans are criticizing her for, but the pay to play for the Sunshine residential home stinks. And Chris Mays just announced that her office is doing an investigation because she had to, because the Republican Senate President pro tem, TJ Shope from Coolidge, formally requested the AG's office to do an investigation on the Sunshine pay-to-play thing. Chris Mays just announced that they will finish that investigation just before the election. My guess is they'll finish it about a week before. Most of the ballots will already have been tabulated, and it won't hurt her. But I think that's where her real vulnerability lies.
Yeah. Yeah.
I read this morning that Katie had vetoed 2 gender affirmation bills that the Republicans got through the House or the Senate, and she vetoed them. And the newspaper article this morning, not newspaper, but the news letter, was that her husband at the Phoenix Children's Hospital is the head of the gender reassignment surgery unit.
Oh,
and
that's new to me. I haven't heard that.
Yeah, you might want to check into that. But it sounds like she was that what the bills would have done would have stopped gender reassignment surgery, but her husband is the head of that section at the hospital, and so she vetoed the 2 bills that would have stopped it.
So her husband's a doctor?
Yeah, evidently. I don't have that article in front of me. It's on the computer,
Yeah.
Wow.
but they don't have the same last name. His name is I forget now, but anyway, he's at the Phoenix Children's Hospital, making little boys out of girls and girls out of boys.
You can bet Mays is going to make it look good, right?
Oh yeah,
she'll make it look good, but I think you're spot on saying that it'll come up right before the election and
late enough to not really swing things.
She won't charge with anything, but it won't make any difference with the voting, right? So, yeah, I did hear. I also saw some breaking news on Arizona Republic. They said that Maricopa County had counted 99% of the votes in the primary within the first 24 hours. Did you see that article?
Yes.
Because of some new state law. What exactly has the state changed, Ken, that you can let people know that improve that? Is that what
we did is we said that as of in the 2026 election, we passed this back in 2023 when I was in the Senate, and when we were negotiating with Hobbs on some budget things, for some things that she wanted in the budget, we were able to get this concession from her to sign this bill. But basically what it was is it said that the counties were supposed to give the voters an option. What's been hurting Arizona is what are called the late earlies. These are people who were mailed their ballots, they fill them out, but for whatever reasons, they wait until election day and they come into the polls and they just throw them in a box.
Yeah.
And it takes 1 or 2 days to check the signatures and another 1 or 2 days to process the ballots. And so it's 4 or 5 days before we have the vote. So the bill that Hobbs signed 3-4 years ago said that beginning in the 2026 elections, the counties had to give the voters the option of, if they come in with their ballot in their sealed envelope, they have to have the option to show identification at the polls, like people voting at the polls that day are doing. And then once they've proven who they are, and this is my ballot, open the envelope and actually
count the ballot.
The ballot now can be run through that night and does not have to be signature checked 2 or 3 days over the next 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And so I'm told that about a third of the people who brought their ballots in on election day chose to show identification so that their ballots could be open and counted that night.
Good.
And that sped things up quite a bit. See, Florida does it different. Florida says if you were mailed a ballot, you got to get that ballot back in by Friday. before the
Yeah.
Tuesday election.
Yeah.
And that gives them time to check the signatures, and then they have
Yeah. Exactly.
a lot more of the count
Mhm.
announced on election night.
Yeah. Yeah. And they
Plus we had a very low turnout this year. It was the lowest primary turnout in more than 20 years.
wow. Both Republicans and Democrats, same?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
no, Republicans turned out a little bit more than Democrats, but
Okay.
overall, it was 33%, 1/3 of Arizonans voted in the primary.
Okay. Yeah, we just somehow you gotta find more people who really care, you know. We have to find a way to step that up, especially coming up in November, right?
Yeah.
It's getting closer, and we're still trying to get the Save America Act passed. So still working on that one.
Fortunately, we have the Save America Act in Arizona
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
We require and have had for 25 years. We
Yeah.
require proof of citizenship to register to vote, and we require
ID to
picture,
vote.
or we show
Picture ID.
identification at the polls
Yeah.
to vote.
Yeah. 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 Same in Florida. So yeah.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm going to have to
Yeah.
excuse
Go ahead,
myself.
Ken. No,
You
that's
guys
fine.
can finish. And
Good luck with the attorneys.
all righty.
And we hope to have a program next week, but I'll let you guys know for sure.
Okay.
I won't keep you in suspense. So it's good to see you too, Ken. And are you going
Okay.
back to Arizona next week or
Tomorrow night.
Oh,
My
tomorrow
son and I
night,
are
okay.
driving back. We're working on the house. I finished the roof. I'm in the middle of redoing the deck, and then we're putting new siding on. So
Oh, wow.
we're going to
Wow.
downsize there in Prescott, sell our big 4,000 square foot home that two people don't need, about half of it, and find something a little smaller, and then split our time between Prescott and American Fork, Utah.
There you go. Well, you could turn it into a bed and breakfast.
I thought of that, but my wife
No.
doesn't do that.
Don't want to do that. No,
She doesn't. No,
I understand.
People don't live in her space.
Yeah, I hear you. Patty is exactly the same way. No, that ain't happening. So,
Yeah.
okay, Ken, we'll have a safe trip.
All right. Thank
Hope
you
to
both.
see you next week. Thanks for your input.
God bless America.
Yeah. Okay. God bless America. Paul, you want to stay on a little while, or are you ready to go?
Yeah, I got nothing to do but dinner tonight.
Okay. Well, if you got something to rant about,
My rant is going to be about the Red-Green Alliance. That's got me really, really bugged.
Okay.
We've got Democrats, Socialists, and the Islamists teaming up,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't like each other, but they hate us more.
Yeah.
And so the enemy of my enemy is my friend is the
Mhm.
kind of the philosophy that they're working on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what the Democrats don't appreciate, I think, the DSA, is they're as uneducated as the rest of America is, and they don't know about the Night of the Long Knives, which is something that they're not going to find out about if they don't study until it happens. And that's when because the Islamists don't care. The DSA won't kill the Islamists, but the Islamists will kill the DSA.
Sure.
I don't think there's any question in my mind. Their fanaticism is such that killing Democrats is like swatting flies.
Yeah.
And so they're going to work together to destroy the country. And then when the Islamists have used the Democrats all they need them for, they're going to kill them.
Yeah.
And they don't know that. But by that time, it'll be too late for the country. So we got a real problem. We got to have some really strong political will to stop all this. Well, just before I came on here, I was watching a Senate hearing with Ted Cruz and three people who are talking about the Muslim Brotherhood and its effect in America right now.
I saw they were having a hearing. Yeah.
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 And so these three people were all, one was a retired FBI agent who had worked with the, the Homeland Freedom thing. I forget what they call it now. But anyway, it was the big brouhaha about 20 years ago. And some of these same people are, and every time one of them gets busted by the government, they just melt into the woodwork and then reform as another group and then start all over again.
Yeah.
And it's just, and they keep growing and growing and growing. And Islam is completely incompatible with our Constitution. And so we either got to get rid of them or get rid of the Constitution. And my vote is to get rid of them.
Yeah. No, you got it exactly right. Well, I don't know if you heard that speech that the guy made in Michigan. Did you hear that speech?
I saw part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty frightening.
Yeah.
I mean,
Al Sayed or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a nutcase. I mean,
Well, that and that Francesca Hong.
yeah. Oh, yeah. She's
off the
nuts
edge
too. Yeah. Yeah. She's
And
not
then,
playing with a full deck. Yeah.
Yeah. She's weird looking too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to make fun of anybody that looks weird because I don't look that good myself, but she really does. It looks like a frog.
I don't know how we're going to handle this Muslim thing. It's going to be interesting, but it's good that they're exposing some of this, and we got to hope people are listening to it, listening to these. Although I think people are, as far as congressional and Senate hearings go, most of the country's on deaf ears because it always is such a dog and pony show, and nothing ever comes of any of it, right? They do a lot of talking and grandstanding and giving speeches and never not letting the other people answer questions. But although I have to give it to Trump's cabinet, this is probably the first cabinet that gives it back as much as they get, they give it back. So, and that's something new because usually they just sit up there and take it. So I can remember Merrick Garland sitting up there and he just took it from all the Republicans and he just lied his way through it all, right? So I don't know how much they're listening. So we got to find some way to communicate with these people and somehow to wake up these journalists to start reporting on this stuff and giving people the facts and the truth and expose that Muslims are incompatible with our Constitution and our country, and they can't be holding offices. Now, I wanted to ask the group, but I'll ask you now before we get off. Have you looked into or heard about that 1954 anti-communist law that was passed and signed by Eisenhower?
I've heard about it. I haven't studied it or actually read it, but I know that it exists.
Yeah, take a look at it. And I'm just curious as to why we could not enforce that now and keep some of these people from running for office, because that's exactly what the intent of it was.
I think the issue there, Don, is that the law was written to fight communism.
Mm-hmm.
And these are democratic socialists.
Yeah, well, they're communists.
And they're going to say, well, that law doesn't apply to us because we're not communists.
Yeah, it could be. It could be that simple, straightforward to fight it. Yeah, but
so the law needs maybe to be refined for anybody that believes, and then you got to draw the fine line. Look at this country. We're halfway socialist now with Social Security and Medicaid and
sure
and all that, and welfare. It's just. I mean, how do you separate the flash from the pepper? We got all these programs that are designed to buy votes, and that's all they're for, is to buy votes, and that's why the Civil Rights Act of '64, started paying people to not keep the man in the house, and then have babies and get paid extra for each baby you had. Just socialism. That's all it is. And so how do we bang the socialists for doing what we've been doing for 40 years, 50 years?
Yeah.
We've wrapped ourselves around the axle.
Well, take a few minutes to look at that. It's called the Communist Control Act of 1954. So take a look at it, and maybe you're right. Maybe Congress needs to step up and update it quickly to get something in place, because these people shouldn't be running for office. They shouldn't be allowed to run for office. They can't they can't take the oath without lying. And
It's perjury. It's really what it is.
And that's perjury. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for coming on this week. Okay.
I've been missing you, Don.
I know I miss you too, and I miss the guys, and we just kind of been plugging along here, trying to stay healthy, right?
That's the main thing.
That's
the main thing.
That's a big challenge, trying to cut down on the doctor visits.
Right.
Staying healthy and try not to catch anything. Try not to eat any lettuce so we don't have
explosive diarrhea.
Explosive diarrhea. We don't want that. We went through that over in Southeast Asia. So we don't need that. Anyway, God bless everybody, and God bless America. Thanks, Paul, again. And thanks to Ken and Jeff for joining us. And we may be on next week, but I'll let everybody know ahead of time. And we'll see you. We'll say goodnight. Thanks, Paul.
Good night.
If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better.